Somebody in the door. Hey there, guys.
It's Roy and Val, and we're here at the Delphi Creativity Center in Lansing, Michigan. And then last week we did a tour of the glass room, and so we're going to do it again. We started out in the store area, which is a little busy at the moment. You can see we got a lot of people walking around, so that's why we're starting a little late. We apologize for that, but follow us as we walk into the glass room. Yeah, we got a little busy with customers, so Val and I were wrapping glass and doing all that kind of fun stuff.
But here we are.
Here we are, in the glass
heat.
room,
Yep.
right? So,
Yep. So last week we did just basically non-fusible glass.
non-fusible glass, yeah, is what we did. Thanks. And then this week we're going to talk about fusible glass, and we have a few different manufacturers to talk about. As we walk out of the room, one of the first things we're hit with here is the bullseye glass. So we carry a pretty nice little
sort of a dead space.
selection.
I was looking that way.
Pretty nice selection, I think, of bullseye glass. The standard thickness and thins. We'll get to those as we kind of move around. But you can see here, Kaylee's
we have the transparents first.
Showing this wide range of transparent glass. And if you're not familiar, what are we going to talk about? Oh, I know that. So we, if you'll notice, there's like on front of the sheets or on front of the racking areas, we have little few samples of what the glass looks like, because sometimes the glass, this is probably a good example. The glass doesn't always look this way until it's fired, right? And then this is the color that glass is going to turn into. They refer to this type of glass as a striker. So if and Bullseye's not the only manufacturer that has that type of glass. There's other companies that make something called a striker. A lot of times you see it more with the warm colors.
But like I say, it's not totally unique to this particular bullseye. So you do want to kind of learn in the fusible glass sections that some of them can do that. Because it can really be a surprise.
It can be a big surprise.
If you think you use this real pale, I don't know, it'd be better if we head toward the light, and then it turned into this really bright yellow. I mean, that might not have been in your design idea, so you do have to watch for those. They're kind of fun, really, but...
I think we do a nice job. Bullseye does a nice job on showing you what those strikers are, so we have that same sort of thing on our website. If you go and look at the glass, you'll see it, a picture of it not struck, and then a picture of what the color should look like once it's struck. So it does make it a little bit easier that way, but it's just good to be aware of it, right, what's going on. You can see all this nice variety of transparents. Oh, the glass real quick. Let's just show you so bullseye glass is a hand rolled glass, and then they leave this rolled edge on the edge of the glass. So sometimes the rolled edge is, you want to grab that pink one that's got more of a wacky edge on it? Yeah. You can see this edge on this glass, right? So you can see what that's their rolled edge. So it just lets you know that's how that was made. The fact that it's hand rolled sometimes can make it a little more of a challenge to cut, but not really. It's just these types of glasses don't like a really hard score. So again, a nice, light, even score is what's best for these kind of things. If you look at the surface of this, Bullseye uses, they double roll the glass. And we were talking earlier about like what the descriptions were. They use double rolled, meaning there's two rollers. So the glass gets slid through two rollers, and it gives you a relatively smooth surface. Mm-hmm. I think we're going to show them some other single rolled stuff.
Single rolled, which they have those two, basically. They have a double rolled and a single rolled. Those are the two. Yeah.
And then, we're going to switch here. It's too bright over there. So down on this side, then it's all their single color opaques. So again, you can't really see through the glass. These sort of colors, again, the blues, greens, for the most part, what you see is what you're going to get with them. There's usually not a big dramatic change when you fire them.
Steel blue.
Oh, except for steel blue, right?
Yes.
Yeah, steel blue.
As soon as you say something, there's always an exception.
Yeah, if you're not familiar with the steel blue bullseye, as Kaylee hopefully showed you on that sample, the glass looks like this. It's just nice, kind of deeper blue, but if it's exposed to the air when you fire it, it turns into this kind of metallic, almost pewter. I think it's kind of a pewter look. Is that how you describe it?
I like to call it a gunmetal gray.
Gunmetal gray. Nice. Good call. But
Yeah.
so again, but if you cap it with clear, it stays blue. So
Yeah. Which can give you some interesting design possibilities. It's kind of fun. Actually.
it's fun to play around with, that's for sure. And then this again is another example of a striker, and you can see that this particular marigold, it really strikes to this color here. So nothing super dramatic, but definitely a little deeper color.
Well, you've got some of the streaks on the back.
Yeah, you know, so I tell people, if you're not familiar, if you look at the streaks, you can see the slightly darker color streak. That's what it's going to strike to.
Yeah. Oh, you mean on the back? Turn it over.
Oh, on the back's even more? Yeah. Yeah, you see these streaks in there. And that'll go away. The color will even out once you
Become
fire
solid,
it.
yeah.
Which is, I don't know if that's good or bad. So the stained glass people out there watching this, I mean, people use this a lot of times too, because just because of that reason here, you have like a two-toned yellow streaky glass that looks, well, you know, for sunflowers or those kind of things.
And
right?
good point. I mean, all this glass can certainly be used for stained glass or mosaics or actually anything you might want to use.
Yeah, even though it's made specifically for fusing, and again, we probably aren't going to get into that a whole lot, right? About the, I mean, it's just manufactured so that it's compatible is a good way of kind of putting it. So you can fuse any of these glasses together, and you're not going to run into any problems. Bullseye just refers to their glass simply as bullseye compatible. So, we're going to call it a 90 or no?
Probably not.
So then on this side is a bunch of streakies. You can see all these kind of different mixes. This one's got white, this turquoise and clear, kind of a fun glass. Again, if you notice, the rolled edges are pretty fun. More single color stuff. We as you notice, we try to do everything like in a rainbow. So the purples just tend to come over on this side. I don't know where the sample is for these.
Some of them, they're on magnets, and some of them just fall off.
Yeah, the samples are, sometimes they walk away, sometimes I think somebody accidentally puts one in their pocket or something. And then down here, again, just more bullseye, but one of the nice things on this side of the aisle here is, if you're not familiar with this glass, they make bullseye, I think it's the only current glass company making these fracture streamers is how they're kind of referred to. So they got stringers in there and fractures already embedded into the glass. And then this glass is yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, so this is the single roll version, right? So this is...
Yep, this is a single rolled. So I don't know how well you can see it, but the top surface is certainly not as smooth as that first one that I showed you. That's a little bit more of a subtle kind of a ripple to it. The backs, again, if you look at the backs, you know, if you're trying to look at not just the fracture streamer part, but there's a little bit more of a texture.
Yeah, yes.
Sometimes
definitely.
people refer to it as kind of a cat's paw look to it. A whole lot more streakies over here. Oh, the other nice thing about Bullseye Glass is that one of the few companies that are making pinks. And so there are some really nice, vibrant pinks that, you know, I think Bullseye is the only one currently making a glass that looks like this, which is kind of nice. So if you need that particular color, there it is, right? They also make, again, some other ones too, right? So ones that's not as saturated with color, a little bit more white in there.
Yep, and then these are over here, some more clear, clear textures. You know, these are kind of a stringer frit situation that they put the components down on the table and then roll the glass over it to pick up. So the texture is usually always on the back. Yeah, it's hard to see. I know when the light's so bright, but
yeah, I know we're kind of lucky here, and it happens to be a really nice sunny day in Michigan today, and we got these great windows here that really lights the glass up, so you can really see it in its natural light. But sometimes for this kind of filming thing, I know sometimes it doesn't work so great. There are some other glasses down here. You'll see some of these fracture streamer ones are actually on white, right? So it's a white base instead of the clear. And it lights up actually pretty good. I don't know if you want to grab that one and kind of turn it to the light, but it's a little more subtle looking than the clear ones are sometimes. So it's a more muted look. I know it works well in lamps. I know people sometimes use these a lot in lamps. Then we have this series of cathedrals, again, so transparent glass that are iridized. So you can see the, I know it's subtle, but you can see the iridized coating up on the surface of these. So that's kind of fun.
Bullseye's coatings are very stable.
Oh, good point.
Yeah. Sometimes you have to be a little careful depending on who's done the coating and what glass it's on, but for the most part, we feel real confident to always say, Bullseye, you don't have to worry, their coatings do not burn off.
Yeah.
So
You can fuse them anyway.
Not
right?
one of those situations where you got to cap it or do something like that. So.
Yep. Yeah, nice. We got some empty scrap bins. Our scrap gets picked over like on a daily basis, so we never know what's going to be in there. We also just kind of group all the whites together. We kind of walked by the blacks, but all the blacks were together. Here's all the whites, and the clears are on this side. Again, same deal. So this is a typical sheet size for Bullseye, which is 20 inches wide, 35 inches tall, and then we cut it down to ship, obviously, right? So we cut it in a few different sizes. But Bullseye also makes what they call their Tecta line, and then so they make a white and this is a machine rolled glass, so it's bigger. They can do it larger. It's a little smoother on the one side. There's a clear also besides the white, which is nice.
And there's no rolled edges on these, so that also is an advantage for people that don't like to cut that rolled edge. So these cut really nice.
Yeah, they cut really, really nice. So, and then all the glass onto my right here is a lot of the same glass we already looked at, the cathedrals or the single color opalescent glass, but these are all fins. So Bullseye makes a complete line of glass that's just a little thinner, right? So these are
it's not half as thin.
it's not half as
so
thin.
like around
it's 1.8. It's just under 2 millimeter.
Under 2
yeah.
millimeter.
So Bullseye refers to their glass as a 3 millimeter. And then so the thins then are like a 1.8 millimeter. So as Val pointed out, not quite half, but pretty close. So again, you know, for the fusers out there that are familiar with the 1/4 inch rule or the 6 millimeter rule, what's nice about the thins is that you can do a little bit more stacking of color and then not, you know, worry too much about it being too thick and spreading out too far.
Mm-hmm. And we use it sometimes when weight is an issue.
Yeah.
You know, so sometimes if someone's doing jewelry or something, sometimes I'll use these just because the weight isn't anything that I really need, and so it makes a nice option. Or sometimes to correct some devit, instead of using a clear powder to sift, sometimes it will add an extra thickness to the glass, but not a standard thickness, and I'll just put a clear thin over whatever my glass that devitted, and sometimes that takes care of it.
Yeah, that's a great trick. So as always, guys, don't be afraid to ask us questions, right? You can make a comment below, or you can always get a hold of us on Instagram or Facebook. You can email us at Facebook at delphiglass.com. I'm trying to remember all the little things. So,
I know, I'm impressed.
Thank you.
Kaylee's not wearing it on her shirt.
I know, Kaylee's not wearing a note, which is kind of unusual. So again, more thins, and then come around the backside here. Again, just some of the more neutral tones. Purples are in there, but
thin.
Yeah, this is a great one to show you again about strikers. So this particular purple is really this color, right? So without knowing that, you would be totally surprised, right? If you're expecting this kind of transparent blue color. So that's the other thing you'll see sometimes with the opaque glasses is sometimes they might look a little transparent or translucent, but they'll opacify or turn opaque once you kind of fire them. So, a bunch there. What else we got? What were you doing?
I didn't do it. Somebody put a sticker on your back.
They did?
Guess who?
Oh. I wonder who did. At least it didn't say kick me on it. Right?
No.
Just a bull. Oh, I know who that was. Here's a glass that is, Delphi Superior glass. So this is a glass that's made for us. There's an American company making a glass for us to our kind of specs. It is a 90 fusible glass. And we get this question asked a lot of times, and this is compatible with the Bullseye glass. So I can tell you that it's been tested against Bullseye's clear, so we know it works with that. And again, just a nice kind of variety of different colors, transparencies. It does come 24 by 36, so 2 by 3 feet. And again, another hand-rolled glass, so you can see the rolled edge on the glass. So it's always has this kind of slightly irregular edge on it, right? I mean, they do cut the tops and bottoms on them. These are nice wide variety. What's nice about it, I think, for some of the colors that we have here, they sort of complement some of the colors that Bullseye has. So you might see some some colors here that you don't necessarily see in Bullseye's per se. But
yeah, it's
relatively
a nice addition for sure,
easy cutting glass. Oh yeah, like this turnip color is great. Is a great color. This kind of mauve-y, kind of purpley color that I don't think anybody else makes that one. Right? That's pretty unique. Pretty nice. And some of these yellows too. Like this is another one of my favorites. So this one is this pina colada. This kind of streaky yellow is another one that don't always see in fusible glass. A nice streaky yellow.
Nice.
Yeah, nice. So let's go to 96, right? So we're gonna head on over to the other side of the classroom. So as you notice, we kind of keep our fusible glasses separated. This is our cutting tables in the middle, and we just try to keep them separated by area, so it's hopefully a little more not as confusing for people, that they pick the right glass, the right compatibility, right? So. You want to start with the Akagani then? We're here, and
yeah, maybe we should start.
Yeah, let's start with the Oceanside. We're going to wander down here, and so we've got aisles. A few aisles here of Oceanside glass. So they're based out of Vista, California, and a machine rolled glass is one of the things you're going to notice. So I'm going to grab a piece real quick just so you can see some of the differences. I know one of the reasons why we were doing this is people were asking us some of the differences about just the different types of glasses or the descriptions of them. So this is a Streaky by Oceanside, and you can see it's really relatively smooth. It is machine rolled, so they do cut off all the edges. So you'll always see these nice crisp edges coming from them. But we can start with on the outside is the...
Up here is their transparent.
Yeah, a nice wide variety of... Someone
left a beer.
Somebody left their drink.
No, it's not a beer, is it?
No, it's an energy drink. So
okay.
Somebody needs some energy around here. Probably was somebody else that works here. Anyways, so you can see them. Same deal, right? We always try to... put samples of what things look like fused, so our customers have an idea of what happens. No, the Oceanside ones they're not really strikers. I mean, not dramatic anyways. Usually, you can see a nice variety of.
They have really nice jewel tones and.
Man, do they ever?
Yeah,
right?
they really do.
And I'll tell you, they're like the varieties of blues or blue greens or that transition from blue to green. They got a really nice.
And the different shades of the individual, like three shades of blue, or I mean, it's kind of a nice.
Which is nice.
Shift that they offer,
They also do a few iridized glasses. Oceanside does, and so this is an iridized transparent red. If you can kind of see the color when it's up there. And then this is another coating that is pretty durable, right? So you should be able to fuse this either way, either up or down, however you want in the kiln. It holds up real well. There are a few iridized textured glasses too, and I know sometimes on clear the iridized coating is a little bit more of a challenge to see. I know people are like, quit moving it, and then I can see it. Yeah. We'll see more of their clear textures as we kind of move around. And then down here is again, this whole side is, again, all Oceanside, it's their single color opaques.
They're really nice too, actually.
Yeah.
They really offer a pretty good variety of different shifts, I think.
Yeah, we have a few customers too that really use this for mosaics. It's a great glass to use for doing mosaics, especially if you're looking for, again, like I said, single color stuff that's nice and bright. I mean, it's better than using ceramic tile on a lot of applications, I think.
Yes.
So great for that. On the leaning over here, you can see all these. So this is some of their specialty glasses that they make. So Oceanside makes these ones they call the Spirit, which is these. They almost look like a hand blown glass, right? If you see some of the fancy hand blown type glasses. They make a bunch of these ones that are called opal art is how they refer to this texture, which is sometimes it's just two colors. This one's three colors that are kind of streaked together, but they're so dramatic. And like every sheet's different, has a slightly different swirl in it. You can see we got a nice variety of them.
And these are not available in the 90 or the Bullseye. So I mean, sometimes people ask us what makes you choose one over the other,
Yep.
you know, and you and I always say, I think it's more palette than anything
I
else,
definitely think
you know,
it's
because
palette.
if you're someone who just truly loves this spirit pattern, you know, or the opal arts, then your decision's made for you, because this is where you get it. We don't,
I know.
you know, get them in the 90s. So that makes and people like the nice clean edges to cut, you know, I mean, that's a favorite for people. So
Let me show them a sheet of this stuff. This is one of my favorites, right? This is what they call blackberry. And again, you can see how it's purple and this aqua color and white kind of all streaked together. But yeah, like Val was saying, I mean, really, the difference between the two, I mean, obviously we can't fuse the 96 and 90 together, right? But even if you're getting new into fusing, yeah, look at the colors of glass. And just, like Val said, I just pick by palette, right? Well, if you really like these styles, and then this is the way to go. I know today I do mine project based personally, but you know, if I want to use this glass and for a project I'm doing, and that's what I use, right? If this glass best suits what I'm trying to look at.
Yeah.
I know it's tricky though, because you can't, you know, if you have both glasses in your studio, then you have to
a
really
lot of people
be
feel
super
kind
careful.
of strongly about
not
having
even doing,
both.
yeah, I know.
But I think the longer you do it, the more you get over that, because you're going to bound to see something that's, you know, really neat
Pretty
that
cool,
you don't
yeah.
have your stash of, and you just, like you say, just keep them separate. That's all.
Let's walk around and look at we're going to look at the clear textures. One of the really nice things about Oceanside is they offer a wide variety of textures, which I know sometimes in the fusing world, people are wondering, like, why, you know, I mean, if it's textured and you're going to fuse it, you're going to just lose the texture, but not always. You know, a lot of times the texture influences whatever you're fusing, and you'll kind of see it. So, for example, right, I mean, these kind of things, like if you fuse a couple of, did you grab that? Was that falling? I mean, these really dramatically ribbed ones, if you fuse this onto something, you'll actually see some of the lines on it.
Or crisscross it.
Yeah, I was just going to say, right, that's why I thought you grabbed it. I thought you were going to show this. Or if you crisscross them like this, you'll catch all these little air bubbles where they crisscross. And that is, you know, usually pretty dramatic looking too. So
I caught it because it was going to fall on the ground.
Fall on the ground.
Yeah, that's why I caught it.
Yeah, we don't want to break any glass around here, right? We're
no.
trying to avoid that if we can. And that's it. Well, I think for the clears, right? That pretty much covers that. Other than, then we can talk about the Yakagani Fusible. Oh, the other Oceanside. Is that where you want to go? Yeah, let's go to. Sorry, we have more Oceanside. All the way back here, I think.
Where?
Going
To the right.
To the back. Yeah. Oh, so this for those people that have been around for a while. You know, Oceanside used to be Spectrum glass, right? Oceanside bought the recipes from Spectrum and the equipment, and they produced the glass like Spectrum used to. But when Oceanside took over, they decided to make everything fusible. And so some of the glasses we're going to show you now used to be just only available in stained glass, but it's now fusible, which is great for fusers, right? We have all these different glasses to choose from. So they tend to be a lot of streakies. You can see that they're kind of a base, and then have some other kind of ambers kind of streaked into it.
Yeah, this has always been one of my favorites.
That's a great glass. And they look a little bit different on both sides, so it kind of almost gives you like two glasses to choose from when you're doing your projects. Yeah, really quite nice. And you can see again, they got a nice variety of warm colors, and we talked about strikers a little bit, but a lot of times this glass tends to be pretty much the color you're going to see.
What you get. Yeah.
It's not going to be much different than this. Just for an example, right? So here's what this glass looks like, and then that's what it looks like fused. So for the most part, pretty much the same. Not a lot of difference. And then if we look down here, you can just see, again, more of it, all these really nice kind of color choices.
If you're someone who learned stained glass a lot of years ago, all these bring back such memories, you know, that when we started stained glass, and we just almost always just use Spectrum and
So Kaylee's starting to show you some other cathedrals. So these was another glass that was originally made for stained glass, but now it's a fusible glass. This is called a rough rolled, so it has this kind of soft, pebbly sort of texture to it. And for the most part, you probably do lose that a bit when you fuse. The texture's not really dramatic enough to really influence what you're fusing too much. So what's nice about that though is for the people out there is, you know, sometimes we might be out of a particular style of glass, but we might still have the color, right? So like if we're out of the plain smooth cathedral one, sometimes we have it in rough rolled or in something called Artique. Let me just show you one of these real quick. So this is called Artique. I'm going to turn it this way so you can maybe see this little subtle lines that are in it. So it's supposed to look like an antique glass, right? So a lot of times these antique blown glasses have this little subtle waving in there. And again, that will disappear when you fuse it, but again, it does give you some options for color that you might not get somewhere else. Yep, and then let's, let me show water glass real quick, just since we're here. Don't ignore
the water glass.
So here's what's called water glass, right? So it's got these slight kind of waviness to it. I don't know if it helps to look towards some more light, but it's super nice, right? We do lose the waviness a little bit when you're fusing, but otherwise there's a ton of options again when you're using it. As far as color goes, right? Lots of choices.
Okay.
So we want to show you another fusible glass, another 96. Somebody put a rack there.
There's a rack there
in my way. Yeah, who did that?
I don't know.
So starting here on this side, we talked about the Oceanside clears, but this side here is this Yakagani glass. So again, we talked a little bit about Yakagani last week. They're started out as a Tiffany reproduction company, but now they also make a 96 glass, and the glass sheets tend to be, you know, they're 24 by 36, which is nice. Again, another hand-rolled glass, so you can see this nice rolled edge along the edge here. That comes in a nice wide variety of colors and styles. What's nice, I think, too, about the Yakagani glass is they're also kind of making some colors that kind of complement what Oceanside's already doing. So you might see some colors in here that you don't see necessarily in Oceanside. They do make a couple of pinks that are really nice. If you can see this Eurobium pink, that's really nice pale pink, and they make this other pink here, which is a cotton candy pink. So again, as I mentioned earlier, a lot of the opaques will fuse
transparent.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It looks a little transparent.
Yeah, it looks a little
now,
transparent, but it's going to fuse more
fuse.
opaque like this, so which is nice. I don't know why we don't have any small pieces cut. So you can see that for us, for Delphi anyways, it's like practically a full-time job trying to keep all the small pieces of glass cut. I mean, I'm not sure how many hundreds of square feet we cut a day, but it's a lot. Again, just, you know, a nice wide variety of color choices here.
This is nice too.
Yeah,
you find that very
that's
often.
a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so the Yakagani makes this, they call it light flesh, right? So you can see that it's just a slightly different color that you don't always see. And in fact, I think they're the only ones that make that color.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's really nice.
It is nice. It's not something it's
No.
easily
Yeah,
found.
it's almost kind of peachy, kind of a sort of a color to it.
Right.
And then, the Marlowe's another nice color too, right? This red here, this little bit. Oh, sorry, this little. I know we're just waving glass around here, people. That's okay. We're professionals. We know what we're doing.
I'm ducking.
I know.
You're like waving it all around.
Well, I didn't know you were coming this way.
I just thought it was called Merlot, but
Oh, Merlot. There you go. I don't know what that even means. But,
I know I
is
do.
that obvious? But Val does. So, Merlot. Okay, gotcha. Oh, this is another one I like. Is that, again, pretty unique one that they make is barbecue sauce, right? So they make this deeper red that sometimes are tricky to find in glass.
They are,
so,
aren't they? Yeah.
Nice kind of fun color. And then one thing we didn't talk about was frit. Yeah, I know. Holy cow, right? We didn't talk about it with Bullseye and we forgot with Oceanside. But here's the Yakagani frit, which is relatively new on the market. They have not always been making it. And a few really nice things about it is comes in these smaller size jars, 4 ounces, I think, right? Mm-hmm. So you're not committed to buy like a ton of it, and you can see what it's like. And again, matches all the colors that they're making. Comes in every variety, right? So from powder all the way up to coarse. So it's powder, fine, medium, coarse, if you're wondering what the 4 sort of sizes are. And then more Yakagani fusible glass around here. On this side here is, this is the Yakagani's streaky glasses. So usually more than one color. Oh gosh, right here. Let's show them the.
And then we have this too.
Yeah, that's what I forgot.
Yeah.
The iridized glass, right? So they have this iridized coating on the surface. It shows up really well on the black, obviously. So let me show you the black. The only thing about this coating is, you have to fire it either face down, or you can fire it with fiber paper on top of it to keep the coating. And so the main reason why is it has to do with the type of coating that they're using, right? So my understanding is they're using some a little bit safer chemical to spray this onto the surface, and because of that, it's just not as durable at higher temperatures. But we've had real good luck with, again, if you fire it face down, and then you can even slump it face up, and it doesn't burn off. So
Yeah,
which is
they
nice.
say once you've fired it face down, then from that point on,
Yeah,
you
it's
don't
pretty
have to
safe.
be careful with the coating.
Yeah.
It's set.
It's pretty durable, yeah.
Yeah, so you can
Oh.
just put it in your kiln face down, run it through a firing schedule, and then if you wanted to cut it, or you know what I mean, and
Yeah.
then you could just use it as normal and not worry about it. But you do have to set the coating.
Yeah, here's another thing that's kind of unique to the to Yakagani is a pink, right? I mentioned that earlier. So they make this pink and white streaky, which for 96 glass, I think is probably the only pink and white streaky that's available at the moment. So pretty nice. They do a lot of these really dramatic kind of mixed glasses. That let me grab a sheet because sometimes I think it's a little even more dramatic when you see the whole sheet, right? So this is the back of the glass. The front looks like this. So kind of fun, these really nice transitions of color.
Yeah,
Fun
really
stuff.
nice.
What else?
What else?
Again, just more of these kind of streakies. I think this is their zebra glass, right? Which is kind of dramatic
Cute.
stripes.
I mean,
in
they have
there.
some real.
Yeah, this is one of the tiger stripes. And again, the orange here is going to strike and turn orange, and we have a little
is it.
sample so you can see
Yeah.
really how nice and vibrant that
Yeah, it
orange
gets
is.
really,
Real
rich.
nice and dramatic.
Yeah.
What else? Is that it? Other than this one, I'll just show this one real quick because Bullseye had something similar and we walked right by it. But so this is a aqua and kind of a cream color, and it's a reactive glass. So the aqua and the cream are reacting with each other, and that's where the brown color comes from. So depending on where you're fusing this from the sheet, but you can see a lot of it's going to turn this kind of brownish color. Where there's a lot of aqua over here, that's going to probably stay in color, but in here where it's mixed, it'll just get a deeper brown, which is sometimes kind of, I mean, it's fun. It's one of those ones that you're never 100% sure what you're going to get in the kiln, but usually it always turns out looking pretty cool.
Looks good.
Yeah, what else? Was that, I think that was that, we covered it.
That's
Well,
it.
that was loud. So,
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah. Well, thanks for joining us today. I think we're coming back in a couple of weeks.
I think I'm not, but
I think Val's going to be
I'll
on
have a
vacation,
replacement.
but
Yeah,
we'll
I think
find somebody.
Daisy will, right?
Yeah.
Daisy will do it.
Yeah, well, I haven't asked her yet, but where's she wandering around here? I'm going to have to drag her in front of the camera. But thanks for joining us. And like I said, as always, if you have questions, feel free to reach out to us.
And
or if you have
suggestions.
ideas,
Yeah, we
exactly. If
need
you have
those,
ideas for other
'cause
things, we need them because we're not smart enough to come up with our own. So
We're running out.
we're running out. Thanks. See you next time.
Thanks.